Thank you for coming for a press conference at the Foreign Correspondents Club of Japan. My name is Terry Jimbo. I'm a CEO of a web-based TV station called videonews.com, and I co-chair the committee that organizes press conferences such as this one today, and I'm a moderator. And we're very happy to present the press conference by the leaders of the Family Federation for World Peace and Unification, of course commonly known as the Unification Church. And first of all, I'd like to apologize for those who could not get into this press conference. We have this COVID safety measures in place, and we need to secure the social distances between the attendees. So we had to limit the number of people who can actually sit in the press conference in person to 30 seats. So many people couldn't get in, although they wanted to, and I'd like to apologize for that. But at the same time, we have this event being live streamed, and perhaps also live broadcast as well. So you can always watch online or on television. And at the same time, you can actually send in the questions through a questionnaire form on the FCCJ website. Although I'm sure I expect very many questions today from the floor as well as from online. So unfortunately, I can't guarantee that all the questions are going to be read. I'm sorry for that too. I'd like to apologize in advance for that. Okay, so let's get to the press conference. Before starting, just a couple of housekeeping matters. Of course, as always, please turn your cell phone, smartphone, on silent mode. We have live streaming going on. We have a live broadcast going on. It's nice not to be disturbed by the ringer. And also, we have removed the plastic shields today, which is usually in place, because we have many TV cameras today, and we were told by TV crew that some cameras shooting from the sideways will have this plastic shield standing on their way. So we removed it. I hope I seek your understanding for that. And if you are afraid, please do wear masks and try to sit as far back as possible, or whatever the safety measures you have to take. But those two are the housekeeping issues. Okay, without further ado, let me introduce two speakers today. The center of the table is Mr. Tomohiro Tanaka. He's the president of Family Federation for World Peace and Unification, and again, former Unification Church. And we have also standing right next to me is Tatsuya Yamada. He's the head of legal division in the General Affairs Department of the church. So we have those two speakers, and President Mr. Tanaka will speak first, and he will give his speech will be about 15 to 20 minutes, which translation maybe it will be half an hour. So we should have about 25 minutes to half an hour for Q&A. And we have agreed that the press conference will end at the 4 o'clock sharp. There'll be no overtime, no extension. So let's get started. And so we'd like to present Mr. Tomihiro Tanaka of the Unification Church. じゃあ田中会長よろしくお願いします。
皆さんこんにちは。私は宗教法人世界平和統一家庭連合会長の田中富広でございます。
Good afternoon, everybody. I am Tomohiro Tanaka, President of the Religious Corporation, the Family Federation for World Peace and Unification.
本日は外国特派員協会にお招きいただきまして心から感謝申し上げます。
I would like to sincerely express my thanks for the invitation to be here today at the Foreign Correspondents Club of Japan.
ただいまから本日の会見文を読み上げさせていただきます。
And I will now read out my statement for this press conference.
2022年7月8日、安倍晋三元首相が凶弾に倒れられました。日本国内ではもちろんのこと、世界中でご生前の業績が称えられ、世界の指導者、各国首脳からも惜しまれながら、たくさんの追悼の言葉が寄せられました。心から元首相のご冥福をお祈りいたします。
On July 8, 2022, the former Prime Minister Shinzo Abe was shot and killed. Following this tragedy, Mr. Abe's achievements during his life have been honored not only in Japan but also throughout the world, with many messages of condolence having been received from world leaders and heads of state. We offer our deep condolences on the passing of the former Prime Minister.
犯人とされる容疑者が、当法人家庭連合への恨みを動機として行動に出たという報道に触れ、私どももとても心重く受け止めております。社会の皆様にも様々にお騒がせしていることに深くお詫び申し上げます。
We also take this tragedy very seriously after hearing reports that the suspect, who is believed to have been the shooter, acted upon a grudge against the FFWPU. We would like to express our deepest regret for the concern this incident has caused to our society.
いまだ容疑者の犯行の読んだ動機の詳細に関しては、捜査本部からも正式に発表されておらず、私どもも現在なお捜査本部からの要請を受けて全面的に協力させていただいているところであります。
Details of the motive for the suspect's crime have yet to be officially announced by the investigation headquarters, and currently we are fully cooperating with the requests of the investigation headquarters.
安倍元首相の国葬が9月27日と発表されておりますので、当法人もその日に向け喪に服し、すべての教会員がご冥福をお祈りするとともに、神様の誠の愛による暴力のない世界平和が実現するよう、祈りと聖世を捧げる期間を過ごしております。
As it has been announced that former Prime Minister Abe's state funeral will be held on September 27, the FFWPU will observe a time of mourning during the weeks leading up to this day, with all of its members praying for Mr. Abe's peaceful transition, while spending this time in prayer and devotion to bring about a world of peace free from violence through God's true love.
さて、安倍元首相が凶弾に倒れられた直後から、容疑者の犯行動機が当法人の信者である母親の献金によるものであると、いまだ確定もしない情報から、昨今の当法人に対する過剰なメディア報道によって、当法人の信徒からさまざまな被害が報告されております。
Immediately after former Prime Minister Abe was shot and killed, we have received numerous reports from FFWPU members who have suffered harm by the latest news reports that excessively highlight FFWPU, based on unverified information that the suspect's motive for the crime was due to donations made by his mother, a member of our organization.
全国の教会に殺すぞと叫ぶ脅しや脅迫電話、街宣車での大音量による罵声、そして集会妨害、一般信徒の自宅にまで夜に朝に押しかけてのメディアからの過剰取材、さらには信徒の子どもたちが 学校やサークルで受けるいじめによる登校拒否、あるいは信仰流に会社を辞めるよう追い詰められたり、家庭内では離婚状を突きつけられた家庭もございます。
Our churches in Japan have since been subject to death threats, receiving threatening phone calls saying we will kill you, abusive language blasting loudly out of sound trucks, and obstruction of assemblies, with some members of the media harassing ordinary members by going to their homes in morning or even at night for interviews. This has resulted in some members' children refusing to go to school because of the bullying they face there or during extracurricular activities, members being forced to resign from their company because of their faith, and some even being forced to sign divorce papers at home.
法人の責任ある者として、喪に服する期間として、このまま黙することが良き選択なのか、審議する期間を過ごしてまいりましたが、昨今の報道の中には、見過ごすことのできないひどい内容も多々あり、本日の会見の場を持たせていただくことといたしました。
As a person responsible for this religious corporation, I have spent this period of time wrestling with the idea of whether it was the right choice to remain silent in honor of this time of mourning. However, as there have been a number of terrible misrepresentations made in some recent reports that can no longer be ignored, I have decided to hold this press conference today.
振り返って、私どもの法人にとって、13年前の2009年が大きな分岐点でした。一部信徒の経済活動が刑事事件として検挙され、それに関して当法人の地方施設などに警察の家宅捜査が入るという事態となり、当時の当法人会長が世間を騒がせた道義的責任を取って辞任いたしました。
Looking back, the year 2009, 13 years ago, was a major turning point for FFWPU. The economic activities of some of our members were prosecuted as criminal cases, and some of our local facilities and other properties were raided by the police in relation to these investigations. The president of FFWPU at that time took moral responsibility for the occurrence of these incidents and thus resigned.
それ以降、信者が経営する会社での物販活動のあり方に対する基本的な指導、財産に比しての高額な献金が行われないよう徹底した努力を重ね、今日に至っております。
Since then, we have provided basic guidelines on how sales activities should be conducted at companies which are managed by members, and we have made concerted efforts to this day to ensure that donations that would be large in proportion to a person's assets are not made.
一方で、民事訴訟に関しては、着実に数が減ってきているとはいえ、ゼロになったわけではありません。残念ながら、信仰が薄れることによって、一度捧げた献金を返してほしいと要請してくるケースもございます。こうした要請には、個別に適切に対応を重ねてまいりました。
Meanwhile, the number of civil lawsuits against FFWPU have steadily decreased, but have not completely ceased as of yet. Unfortunately, there are cases in which people have requested the return of a donation they once made after experiencing a decline in their faith. We have responded appropriately to these requests on a case-by-case basis.
メディアに出てくる弁護士団体は、相談のあった当法人にまつわる案件のすべてを被害と断定して集計発表していますが、その内容は実に不正確であり、不公正です。
The Lawyers Association, which has appeared in the media, has announced certain statistics where they conclusively declared that all cases involving FFWPU for which they were consulted were cases involving damages or victimization. However, these details submitted are grossly inaccurate and unfair.
こちらの図をご覧ください。
Let me draw your attention to this diagram.
裁判においては、1998年においては、係争中の案件が78件ありましたが、2022年の訴訟継続中の件数は5件です。また、通知書件数はこの10年で10分の1に減りました。もちろん、各事案には丁寧に対応させていただいております。
You can see that there were 78 cases that went to trial in 1998 alone, but there are only 5 ongoing litigation cases in 2022. In addition, the number of notice letters has also decreased to 1/10 in the past decade. We will, of course, address each case with utmost care and attention.
各報道機関は、全国霊感商法対策弁護士連絡会が発表する被害とする数字が正しいか否か、ぜひ検証していただきたいと願っております。それが社会的責任を持つ報道機関の責務ではないでしょうか。
We hope that each press organization takes steps to verify whether the alleged number of cases involving damages as announced by the National Network of Lawyers Against Spiritual Sales are in fact correct. We believe that this is indeed the duty of any socially responsible press organization.
さらに、一部メディアでは30年以上前にレッテルを貼った霊感商法なるものが今も変わらず行われていると発信し続けています。しかしながら、いわゆる霊感商法なるものを過去においても現在も当法人が行ったことはありませんし、信徒らに対しては特に2009年以降、当法人は社会的、法的に問題と指摘される行為をしないよう、コンプライアンスの徹底に努めております。
Furthermore, some media outlets continue to report that the so-called spiritual sales, as was labeled such more than 13 years ago, are still being conducted even now. However, FFWPU has never engaged in any such spiritual sales in the past or today. And particularly since 2009, FFWPU has made every effort to ensure compliance among its members, to ensure that they do not engage in any conduct that may be considered socially or legally problematic.
そもそもすでに報じられていますように、安倍政権時代の2018年に消費者契約法の改正で霊感商法の言葉も盛り込まれて、霊感商法と認定されたものはいつでも取り消すことができるようになっています。しかしながら、上記コンプライアンスの徹底により、霊感商法と称される類のものは、当法人の信徒において行われていませんし、被害報告もありません。
As has already been reported in the year 2018 during the Abe administration, the revision of the Consumer Contract Act incorporated the phrase spiritual sales, and any transaction found to constitute spiritual sales can be revoked at any time. However, with the aforementioned strict enforcement of the compliance, none of our members have engaged in anything close to such spiritual sales, and there have been no reports of any damages.
2014年以降、当法人は消費者センターから当法人に関する何らかの相談があった場合には、連絡をもらうようにしていましたが、記録にあるこの年以降においては、消費者センターから相談を受けたとの連絡は一件もございません。
Since 2014, FFWPU has agreed to be contacted by the Consumer Center if any consultation is made in relation to FFWPU. But since that year on record, we have not had a single case of contact from the Consumer Center for any consultation that it has received.
当法人の名称変更に対しても、歪んだ憶測や悪意に基づき、メディア報道がなされております。悪いイメージを隠すために名称変更をしたと、いわば正体隠しの手段として名称変更したかのように報じられております。
Media coverage of the name change to FFWPU is being made based on distorted speculation and malicious intentions. The media has reported as if our corporation's name was changed as a means to conceal our identity, saying that the name of the corporation was changed in order to hide the bad image.
これに関しては、すでに私たちの見解を日本のメディア関係者にはお伝えしましたが、残念ながらマスコミはその一部だけを切り取り、名称変更に至る事実経緯および当法人の意向を正しく報道することはありませんでした。
In this regard, we have already communicated our views to Japanese media personnel, but unfortunately, the media outlets have only taken out certain parts and have not properly reported on the factual background and FFWPU's intentions that led to this name change.
もとより、ムン・ソンミョン総裁が1954年に世界キリスト教等身霊協会を創設された当初より、この看板を下ろすことができる日が来ることを願い、当時からこれを予言しておられました。
Since in 1954 founding the Holy Spirit Association for the Unification of World Christianity, or HSAUWC, Reverend Sun Myung-moon had hoped that the day would come when he would be able to take down the HSAUWC sign, and he had talked about doing so since that time.
ムン氏はすべての宗教が和合統一できるように、超宗教の活動に投入し続けてこられ、それゆえに会の名称も教会の教ではなく、協力の教を使用して出発いたしました。
Reverend Moon had unceasingly invested in interreligious activities in the hopes of bringing about the harmonious unification of all religions. And for this purpose, he launched this religion by using the Chinese character meaning cooperation in the name of this corporation, rather than the character meaning church, both with the same reading.
そして1997年にいよいよその時を迎え、ムン氏は全世界的に世界平和統一家庭連合の名称を使用するように願われ、全世界の教会に向けてメッセージを発せられました。それを受けて、世界の統一教会は一斉に名称を変更いたしました。
Then, with the ushering of such an era in 1997, Reverend Moon expressed his desire to globally use the name Family Federation for World Peace and Unification, and he announced this message to all the churches worldwide. In response, the unification churches worldwide all at this time changed the name of their organizations.
その時以来、日本においても担当省庁に名称変更の相談を重ね、2015年になって正規の手続きに従って名称変更に至る関わる規則変更の認証申請を行い、2015年8月26日に正式に認証を受けて名称を変更するに至りました。
Since then, in Japan also, we consulted with the relevant ministries and agencies regarding our intention to change the name of the corporation. And in the year 2015, we applied for certification for the alteration of the Articles of Incorporation in relation to the name change in accordance with formal procedures. On August 26, 2015, with the receipt of the official certification, the name of the religious corporation was officially changed to FFWPU.
この名称変更の当法人規則認証に関する政治的圧力や介入があったかのような一方的な憶測報道がなされていますが、事実ではありません。
There has been one-sided or speculative reporting as if there was political pressure or intervention in relation to the certification of FFWPU's Articles of Incorporation for this name change. However, this is not true.
確かに当初、当法人が名称変更の相談を持ちかけた当時の文化庁、いわゆる主務官庁は、名称変更に難色を示し、規則変更認証申請をしないよう、当法人を説得してきました。
Indeed, at first, when we approached the then Agency for Cultural Affairs, or which could be referred to as the competent authority, for consultation in regards to the name change, the competent authority showed reluctance to this name change and advised us not to apply for certification for the alteration of the Articles of Incorporation.
しかしながら、宗教法人がいかなる名称を名乗るかは、信教の自由により憲法上保障されており、法律上、宗教法人の名称変更に関わる規則変更認証は、法律の定める形式的要件と手続きを踏めば、変更しようとする事項が法令に反するなどの例外的な自由がない限り、主務官庁はこれを認証すべき義務を負わされています。
However, as the freedom of religion guaranteed under the Japanese Constitution allows a religious corporation to use whatever name it chooses absent any extraordinary reason, such as the matter to be changed would go against the law, the competent authority has the legal obligation to certify an application for certification for the alteration of the Articles of Incorporation in relation to changing the name of a religious corporation once the formal requirements and procedures stipulated by law are satisfied.
Mr. Tanaka, can you try to wrap up your speech since it's half past, please? メリーさんからちょっと訳してください。
ちょっと30分となりましたので、少しね。
したがって、仮に当法人が形式的要件を充足する規則変更認証申請書を提出すれば、主務官庁としては、これを認証すべき義務を負わされていますので、これを認証するほかはありませんでした。
Therefore, in the case FFWPU submits an application for certification for alteration of Articles of Incorporation that would satisfy the formal requirements, the competent authority is obliged to certify this and would have no choice but to do so.
しかしながら、当法人は主務官庁相手に紛争を起こすことを避けるべきと判断し、この時は引き下がりました。
However, as we determined it would be best to avoid raising a dispute with the competent authority, we did not pursue an application at that time.
当法人はその後、何度も主務官庁に名称変更の相談を重ねましたが、同庁の対応が変わらなかったため、2015年に提出の際には、当法人は主務官庁が規則変更認証申請を拒絶する以上、訴訟もやむを得ないと決意し、別紙の法律専門家による意見書を添えて、その旨、主務官庁に意思表示をしました。
After that, we repeatedly consulted with the competent authority about changing the corporation's name, but their response did not change. As such, in 2015, we concluded that litigation would be unavoidable as long as the competent authority refuses the application, and indicated our intent to that effect to the competent authority by sending the attached written opinion prepared by our attorneys.
これを受けて、主務官庁は当法人の名称変更に関わる規則変更認証申請を受理し、認証となりました。以上が事実であり、本件認証は純粋な法律問題として適法に処理されたものであり、そこには何らの政治的介入や不正はありません。
As a result, the application in relation to the change of the corporation's name was accepted and certified. And this summarizes the facts in this case, showing that this certification was duly processed purely as a legal issue and did not involve any form of political intervention or corruption.
なお、担当省庁には、 事前相談の段階で、名称を変更しても1年間は、世界平和統一家庭連合の名称とともに、旧世界キリスト教統神霊協会、いわゆる旧統一教会の名称を併記して、社会に広く周知することをお伝えし、実際にこれを実行いたしました。
At the preliminary consultation stage, we informed the relevant ministries and agencies that even if the corporation's name were to be changed, we would state the name Family Federation for World Peace and Unification alongside the phrase formerly known as the Holy Spirit Association for the Unification of World Christianity, being the name of the so-called former Unification Church, for 1 year to make this change widely known to society, and it has been in fact implemented in this way.
したがって、一部のマスコミが述べる世間の批判をかわすために、いわば正体隠しとして名称を変えたかのように批判することは、事実無根の的外れな憶測であり、決めつけに過ぎません。
Therefore, to criticize that we changed the name of the corporation to conceal identity, or in other words, to avoid public criticism, as has been stated by some media outlets, is nothing more than groundless speculation or assumptions.
また、かつて信徒らが自主的に運営する受講施設において、一部信徒らが教会名を事前に伝えていなかった事例があり、それを正体隠し伝道であると指摘されましたので、2009年以降、当初から教会名を名乗るよう指導を徹底して改善を図ってまいりました。今では所属信徒らも強く自覚して取り組んでおります。
There was a case in the past where some members did not disclose the name of the church in advance at certain training facilities operated independently by such members. As we were advised that such practices would constitute covert missionary work, we have endeavored to improve such practices since 2009 by providing guidance to disclose the name of the church from the onset. Members of the Federation are now strongly aware of these guidelines when engaging in activities.
正体を隠しての伝道というレッテル貼りは、多くの友好団体にまで波及し、すべての友好団体が旧統一教会の伝道のためのダミー団体であるかのように強引に結びつけ、今も批判の対象とされています。
The effects of labeling activities as being covert missionary work has even spread to many of our affiliated organizations, with all of them being unreasonably portrayed as being a front organization for missionary work of the former Unification Church, and even now being made a target of criticism.
すべての友好団体は、
田中会長、そろそろちょっとスピーチの方を終わりにしていただいて。
全部させてください。すべての友好団体は、当法人の宗教活動と異なる明確なミッション、ビジョンを掲げて活動しており、それぞれの友好団体がその目的を共に志す国内外の指導者の皆様と共に世界規模の平和構築に向けて独立した活動を展開しております。そのような理念に多くの社会の指導者の皆様も賛同されてきました。
All of these affiliated organizations engage in activities under a clear mission and vision that are distinct from the religious activities of FFWPU. And each of them engages in independent activities to build peace on a global scale with leaders from Japan and abroad who share the same goals as those of the respective organizations.
各友好団体のその活動の歴史と今日の実績を見れば、その目的が一宗教団体の会員や資金獲得などのためではないことが、良識ある皆様にはおのずと判断がつくことかと思います。
By observing the past activities and current achievements of these organizations, any person with a conscience would naturally reach the conclusion that their purpose is not gaining members or acquiring funds for one particular religious organization.
家庭連合の会員が法治精神に基づいてボランティア活動をしたら、それも会員獲得のためであると決めつけ、公共機関に寄付をしたら、それも怪しい寄付であるとレッテルを貼るなど、暴暴なメディア報道がエスカレートしており、まさにヘイトスピーチ、人権侵害と言わざるを得ません。
There is an escalation of high-handed media coverage that conclusively portrays volunteer activities conducted in the spirit of service by our members as activities to gain new members, or labeling any donations made to public organizations as being suspicious. This must be said to constitute hate speech and a violation of human rights.
家庭連合の会員も 日本の国民として一般社会で働き、税金を払い、法を遵守して、社会の一員として、一人の人間として、社会的責任を果たして生きています。
FFWPU members live their lives as citizens of Japan by working in society, paying taxes, obeying the law, and fulfilling their social responsibilities as a member of society and as individual human beings.
心ないメディアのフェイクニュース、暴言が宗教的差別を助長するヘイトスピーチとして、個人の人権を傷つけ、強いては信教の自由を侵害していることを強く訴えたいと思います。
We would like to strongly condemn the fake news and abusive language disseminated by the heartless media, which, as hate speech, encourages religious discrimination, undermines the rights of individuals, and, if anything, violates people's freedom of religion.
批判は若い青年男女の結婚にまで及びます。好きでもない人と無理やり結婚させられると、宗教2世問題とのくくりで批判が拡大されています。それも実態とは大きく異なります。
Criticism has also extended to the marriages of young men and women. By saying that a person is forced to marry someone they didn't like, this scope of criticism has been expanded to issues involving second-generation members. This is also vastly different from the reality.
ムン・ソンミョン総裁が逝去されて以降、青年男女の結婚は、父母や先輩の紹介で出会いの場が準備され、一定のお付き合いの時間を経て、互いの同意のもとに祝福結婚式に臨んでいます。祝福結婚が男女の意に反して強制されることは絶対にありません。
After Reverend Moon passed away, young men and women who wish to marry are introduced to each other through their parents or colleagues, and after a certain time of dating, participate in the marriage blessing ceremony upon mutual consent. No one is ever forced against their will to participate in this ceremony.
かつては尊敬するムン・ソンミョン総裁ご夫妻に永遠のパートナーの紹介を受けておりましたが、この時も祝福結婚への参加者は自ら望んでパートナーの紹介を受けることを希望していました。そして現在はその祝福結婚のパートナーとの出会いも大きく変わっています。ぜひ当法人のホームページをご覧ください。
In the past, a person was introduced to their eternal partner by the Reverend Moon and his wife, but even then, participants of the marriage blessing ceremony had desired on their own volition to receive such an introduction. Now, the way in which people meet their partner in the marriage blessing has greatly changed, and please visit our official homepage for more.
メディアでは元教会員ばかりの話が紹介されますが、元教会員の否定的な言葉だけを取り上げ、信仰生活を通して自らの研鑽に努める現役信者の肯定的な言葉には一切耳を貸さないのはなぜなのでしょうか。
Although media outlets only introduce the stories of former members and report on their negative statements, I must ask why no effort is made by the same media to listen to the positive statements made by active members who strive to improve themselves through a life of faith.
そもそも家庭連合の祝福結婚式に参加して結婚手続きをされたカップルの離婚率は残念ながら皆無ではありませんが 2% 以下であり、多くのカップルは幸福円満に過ごしております。今日の日本の離婚率 35% に比較したら圧倒的に少ないことがわかります。
To begin with, the divorce rate of couples who attended FFWPU's marriage blessing ceremony and registered their marriage is, while unfortunately not zero, less than 2%, and many of these couples are currently enjoying a happy and fulfilling life. You can see that this is overwhelmingly lower compared to the 35% divorce rate in Japan today.
当法人の信者は、かつて拉致監禁、脱会強要という違法な人権侵害の被害に遭ってきました。信仰生活をしている信者を無理やり拉致し、監禁したのです。その数は1966年以降、総計4300件を超えており、中には12年5ヶ月監禁され続けて逃げ出してきたケースもあれば、監禁場所での自殺者も出ています。また多くの被害者は、今日も PTSD を発症し、日常生活に 苦悩を抱えております。
FFWP members were once victimized by illegal human rights violations such as abductions, confinement, and forced religious deconversion. Members who led a life of faith were forcibly abducted and confined against their will. The total of number of such cases exceeded 4,300 since 1966, and in one case, a person was imprisoned for 12 years and 5 months before escaping, while others have committed suicide while in confinement. In addition, many victims have developed PTSD and are still suffering from its effects daily.
この問題はすでに2014年に国連自由権規約人権委員会で取り上げられ、日本政府に対する勧告がなされております。また、アメリカの国務省が信教の自由に関する世界各国の状況をまとめた国際宗教自由報告書にも、この問題が何度も取り上げられております。
This issue was already addressed in 2014 by the UN Human Rights Committee, and a recommendation has been made to the Japanese government accordingly. It has also been mentioned many times in the International Report on Religious Freedom by the US State Department, which summarizes the status of religious freedom worldwide in each country.
来たる8月12日、韓国ソウルにおきまして、世界指導者及び宗教指導者が集い、サミット2022リーダーシップカンファレンスが開催されます。宗教の自由と普遍的な人権に焦点を当てて、当法人が被った拉致監禁被害についても議題となる予定です。
On the upcoming August 12, the Summit 2022 and Leadership Conference, bringing together global and religious leaders, will be held in Seoul, Korea. This will focus on religious freedom and universal human rights and include on the agenda the serious harm caused by abduction and confinement of FFWPU members.
今日の異常な宗教迫害ともいえる偏向報道がきっかけとなって、ヘイト感情が誘発され、当法人信者に対して身体的危害が加えられたり、暴力行為による新たな被害が発生することを真剣に危惧するものです。
We are seriously concerned that recent biased news coverage, which represents an abnormal form of religious persecution today, could trigger hateful sentiments and cause physical harm to FFWPU members, or lead to additional harm caused by violent acts.
一部メディアは、家庭連合はオウム真理教と同じ、暴力団と同じと犯罪集団のように報道して、視聴者の不安や恐怖、偏見を煽っています。しかし、言うまでもなく、当法人が殺人や暴力を実行し、助長したという事件は皆無であります。
A number of media outlets are fueling anxiety, fear, and prejudice in the readers or the audience by portraying FFWPU as a criminal group, saying it is the same as Aum Shinrikyo or as organized crime. However, needless to say, there are no facts or incidents in which FFWPU has committed or encouraged murder or violence.
すでに何度かメディアの皆様にお願いしたことですが、報道に際しては、正確、公正、客観的な取り扱いの上、事実に反する内容、憶測に基づいた内容を報道することのないように、重ねて要請いたします。
As we have already asked the media on several occasions, we would like to reiterate our request for accurate, fair, and objective treatment in the media's reporting, and for them to refrain from reporting anything contrary to the facts or based on speculation.
以上です。ありがとうございました。
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Tanaka. So we're going to go to Q&A. He spoke about 10 minutes longer than we agreed. So I guess I'm going to have to ask him to stay longer, at least 10 minutes. But anyway, let's go to Q&A. If you are designated, come forward to microphones and cite your name and affiliation. And please just ask one question each and no speech, please. Okay, who's going to go first? Kani-san, どうぞ。
ラジオフランスおよびリベラション新聞の特派員西村と申します。よろしくお願いします。確認したいことがあるんですけれども、冒頭ではまず謝罪 して、その後、40分にかけて、何も悪いことをしてないっていう意味を持つ、長いことを言って、で、田中さんの謝罪の意味は、もう一回説明していただけますか。
My name is Nishimura of Radio France and Libération. I would like to ask, at the initial opening of your speech, you expressed your regrets and made a form of an apology. However, following that, you spoke for around 40 minutes, giving the impression that you have not done anything wrong at all. I would like to ask your meaning of this regret or apology expressed at the opening.
主に今日の報道が2009年以前の私たちのいわゆる負の部分がクローズアップされて報道されております。そのことが今日においてもメディアを騒がせ、そして多くの混乱を招いているということに対する謝罪です。
Much of the reporting currently is based on what could be considered or our so-called negative aspects from prior to 2019. And much of the reporting is being conducted with a close-up on these aspects. So the apology was in regards to the fact that this is causing a stir in the media and a confusion.
この度の容疑者の動機に関わる内容は、もちろん家庭連合が重く関わっていれば、私たち自らもしっかりと受け止める姿勢を持っておりますが、これに関しては正式に警察発表があった上で、改めて私たちの姿勢を示したいと思います。
Of course, if it were to be found that the suspect in this particular incident's motivation was something that was deeply connected to our organization, or there was indeed some connection there, then this would be something that we would need to take very sincerely. However, as there has not yet been any official police announcement in regards to this, we would like to wait until such an occasion, and then we will make clear our stance then.
今日の会見の趣旨は、むしろ当法人の信徒たちの命の危険と、そして私たちの取り組みがもしより変化を求められるならば、多くの方々の意見も受け止めて、より良い法人の在り方に向かって変化はなお続けたいと思っておりますので、その表明でもあります。
And our objectives in holding this press conference today, one of these is considering the fact that some of the members of the FFWPU, their lives are indeed in danger at the moment. But an additional objection also is that if there is indeed aspects of our organization or our efforts where change could perhaps be desired, then we seek voices or opinions about how we can make such improvements or make a betterment of our organization in order to keep changing for the better.
いいでしょうか。
Okay, next question. I have actually more or less the same question and about from half a dozen people online. And I'm sure some of you on the floor will ask them questions. So I'm going to just read this question on their behalf. The Prime Minister Kishida has instructed its members in the LDP to cut ties with your organization. If your organization is now legitimate, why do you think your organization is treated that way even today? And also, what do you think of this Prime Minister Kishida's instruction of to their lawmakers?
次、オンラインで6名ほどの記者から同じような内容の質問が寄せられていますので、それ少しまとめてお聞きします。岸田総理から自民党の党員、またはその政府のメンバーには教団から距離を置くように、縁を切るようにというふうに指示をされているというふうに言われているんですけれども、それについて、なぜそのような、もし政党の団体などであれば、なぜそのような指示が行われるのか、それはどういうような理由があるのか、またその指示についてどういうふうに思われるのかについてコメントお願いします。
日本は宗教団体並びにそこに所属する信徒の者たちも国の政治に関わり、そして選挙に関わっていくことは国民の義務であると理解しておりますし、憲法で保障されていると思います。
Japanese religious organizations and also members or believers of such organizations have both the responsibility as citizens and also the guarantee under the Japanese constitution to be able to be involved in Japanese politics, including participation in elections.
この度の政権の判断がどのような深い意図があって判断されているかまでは私たちが言及する立場ではありませんが、当法人との関わり方が強く判断の基準に定められたというならば、それは至極残念なことであり、さらには多くの今日のメディア報道を通じながら、その心に、その報道に揺れる世論に対しての気遣いもまた介入していたというふうに否定することはできないと思いますので、その点においては誠に遺憾に思っております。
In regards to the deep intention of this decision by the government, that's something which we are not at this moment in a position to speak about their actual intention in regards to this. However, if it is based upon the relationship or perspective of our organization, then I believe that this is something which is very unfortunate. And it perhaps cannot, or it must be said that it is perhaps looking at the different media reporting today about our organization, it could be also considering concerns about public opinion and so on. This is an aspect which cannot be denied in regards to that. If that is the case, however, I think that this is something which we feel is extremely unfortunate.
Okay. By the way, you may ask questions in Japanese if you wish. We have a translator standing by today. Isabel, want to take it? Microphone's right there.
質問は英語でも日本語でも大丈夫です。誠です。
Isabel Reynolds from Bloomberg News. I'd like to ask about the structure of your organization and the role of Japan within that structure. A lot of experts and lawyers have said that the main source of income for your global organization is or perhaps has been Japan. Is that the case? And if so, what is the basis for that? Is there some kind of doctrine which teaches that Japan should be supporting Korea in some form?
ブルームバーグのレノルズと申します。その連合についての構造的なこと、構造についての話なんですけれども、多くの専門家、弁護士などの話に言いますと、その世界的にその教会連合の中で日本がある意味で主権源になっているというような話があります。多くの国際的な資金が日本から生まれているというような話があるんですけれども、それがまずそれが本当であるかどうかということです。そしてそれであれば、それをどのような考えをもとにしているのか、例えばその教えの中で日本は韓国をサポートしていかなければいけないというような状況があるのか、そのようなその教会のお考え、教えなどについてのコメントをお願いします。
はい。世界的な活動の資金が日本がすべて背負っているという事実ではありません。ただ、日本の法人が全世界に宣教師を派遣していることは事実です。今日まで長い年月をかけて、たくさんの宣教師が世界に行き、そしてその国の多くの国民に対し、教義を広め、また伝道活動も進めてきました。その中では、共産主義政権で命を失った宣教師たちもおります。当法人が世界に献金を送っていることは事実です。それは世界宣教費として法の基準に基づき、そしてまたその宣教費用も所轄庁あるいは税務署にしっかりと手続きをし、書類を提出して進めております。そういう中で、世界に活動が活発すればするほどに、また献金も世界宣教費として送ってまいりましたので、そのことを理解しておいていただければいいかというふうに思います。
In regards to whether, looking at the global activities of the church, of the organization, as to whether Japan is covering all of the funding for these, this is not the case. However, it is a fact that Japan does send many missionaries around the world as part of the activities of the church. This has been done for a very long period of time, with people being sent to many different countries around the world to carry out missionary work, spreading the teachings of the church to many local people, for example. There have been even people whose lives have been lost as a result of their missionary work in communist countries, for example. And so it could be said that it is true that our organization, our church, does send funds to different places around the world as part of these missionary activities as well. However, I would like to make clear that this is all done through legal methods, taking the official routes for sending this money, and all is reported to the relevant tax and other government authorities as well. However, as the activities globally of the organization of the church become more active, this does mean also more funds to be sent internationally as well.
日本からの収入が全体、世界グローバルの全体の何割くらいとか、そういうような数字とかっていうのは出していただけるのはありますか？
それは日本法人ではわからないですね。
And so I'd like to ask if you know the proportion of how much of the funds which are coming from Japan, what that represents in the global funds. However, these figures are not available within the Japanese corporation.
Okay, Andy, go ahead.
Hi, this is Andy Sharp from Nikkei Asia. In what ways have you or any of your related organizations used the church's influence on politicians in Japan? For example, on social issues such as LGBT rights, or having couples use the same surname, or also on political issues such as constitutional change in Japan? Thank you.
日系アジアのシャープと申します。その世界平和統一家庭連合、もしくはその関連団体、友好団体などが日本の政治にどのような形で影響を今まで与えてきたのかということです。例えば社会的なテーマ、社会的なイシューに関して、例えば LGBT、性的マイノリティですとか、夫婦別姓の問題ですとか、もしくは政治的な、例えば憲法改正などという問題で、法人として、または関連団体、友好団体など、政治的な影響などを与えてきたというようなことがあるのか、もしあればどのような形のものなのかについてお願いします。
影響を与えてきたかということは、これは客観的にむしろ多くの皆様方に判断していただいた方がいいかと思っておりますが、政治に友好団体が強く姿勢を持って関わってきたことは事実です。
As to what kind of influence might have been had, I think that this is something which is perhaps to be objectively judged by others rather than by us, which I mean many people would judge as to what influence there has. However, as to whether there has been a strong stance or a connection relationship between politics and some affiliated organizations, that is the case.
それは政治工作のために関わってきたとか、あるいは脱税や霊感商法の批判から逃れるために関わってきたということではありません。
However, this has not been done for the purpose of making some kind of political moves, evading tax, or avoiding or escaping troubles and so on in regards to spiritual sales. That's not the case.
私たちの法人並びに多くの友好団体は創設以来、共産主義というものに対して明確に対峙してきました。
Since the establishment of our organization and also of the many affiliated organizations, we have consistently held a strong stance against communism.
したがって多くの民主主義を守ろうとする同志たちと共に、あるいは友好団体と共に、私たちはこの日本のあるべき姿に向かって常に考えながら今日まで方向を共に歩んできました。
And therefore, together with many other fellow people who are seeking to protect democracy and many other affiliated organizations, keeping in mind our vision of how we believe Japan should be, we have continued to walk together, take steps together in the same direction for that purpose.
今メディアで私たちの友好団体とあるいは当法人と 政治家が関わったか関わらないかが問題視されておりますが、むしろ私たちから見れば、共産主義問題に対して明確に姿勢を持っている政治家の皆さんとは、共により良き国づくりに向かって手を合わせてきたと思っております。
In the media, currently it is being taken up as an issue about whether particular politicians have a relationship either with our federation or with other affiliated organizations. However, from our perspective, if it is a politician who does have this also clear stance against communism, then we are taking up hands together in this joint efforts for creating a better nation.
それは日本国内のみならず、世界的なネットワークの中で、コミュニズムに対して、共産主義に対して取り組みを、連携を取りながら進めております。
And this is the case not only domestically for Japan, but indeed globally, utilizing a global network in order to conduct different initiatives and coordinate against communism.
そういう意味で、多くの政治家の皆様方が、同じ平和世界を構築するとならば、このコミュニズムとの対峙する姿勢とともに、私たちは一緒により良き国づくりをしていきたいという志でおります。
And so in that sense, for many politicians who may share this same vision of wanting to build a peaceful world and to stand against communism and to create this better country, then we do see very much as standing together for that.
以上です。
Okay, I'm going to have to make next question the last question. Who wants to take it? Okay, go ahead. You've been raising hand.
これで最後の質問になります。
Hello, Tim Kelly from Reuters. I want to follow up on this question of your relationship with lawmakers, specifically with LDP lawmakers. Could I ask you, during the elections, during national elections like the recent upper house election, was your organization or your affiliates, such as the UPF, actively coordinating with members within the LDP to provide votes to certain lawmakers in those elections to ensure that some lawmakers were elected that reflected your political views?
ロイターズのケリーと申します。関連の質問させていただきます。つまり政治家、特に自民党の政治家との関係についての質問になるんですけれども、日本の選挙の時、例えば最近の参議院選などで、家庭連合、もしくは関連団体、友好団体、UPF などは、特定の政治家、特定の自民党全体、もしくは特定の政治家と、例えば党を得るための積極的な連携などというものは具体的にありますでしょうか。例えばある政治家、同じような立場の政治家が当選されるための具体的な連携、協力などというものは選挙においてございますでしょうか。
この辺は私たちの法人と、それから友好団体、それぞれにおいて関わり方は異なると思います。
In regards to this, I think that the relation or the way of being connected is different for our federation and each of the affiliated organizations.
先ほども申し上げましたように、当会員の信徒たちは宗教団体に所属しておりますが、国民の一員として国政の在り方に積極的に関わり、そして選挙にも積極的に行くように主導はしております。
As I mentioned, while our members do belong to a religious organization, as stated before, they also, as individual citizens, we do encourage them to be active in national politics and also to take part in national elections.
ただ、私たちの法人が特定の党と関係を持つ、あるいは特定の党のみを応援するという態度は取っておりません。
However, as our federation, the FFWPU, we do not have a stance of asking them to support any specific party or only one particular party.
選挙に関しては、平和連合という友好団体がございますので、平和連合の方がむしろ国政と関わっている度合いが大きいので、そこから願われる内容に信徒たちも応えていくように努めていると思います。
In regards to the elections, the affiliated organization of the Peace Federation could be said to be more directly connected in regards to national politics. And so it may be the case where members are, for example, following the work or their initiatives in relation to elections and politics.
ただ、先ほども申し上げましたように、私たちの基本姿勢は共産主義と対峙して進めております。
However, as mentioned, our fundamental stance is a stance in opposition to communism.
したがって、その視点から言うと、自民党の議員の方々がより多く接点を持つことがあるんではないかと思いますが、自民党のみならず、コミュニズムに対して明確に姿勢を示す議員の皆様方とは、それぞれの場で関係性があったというふうに思います。
And so from that perspective, it could be said that it is likely that there are more points of encounter between politicians from the LDP, but it's not limited to the LDP. Politicians who take a strong stance against communism, a clear stance against communism, would be where relationships are built from this common platform.
それは政治工作という意味合いではなくて、むしろこの国をどういう国にしたいのか、より良き国づくりに向かって共に志を一つにしていこうという姿勢の中からの交わりです。
This is not for any kind of political manipulation and such, but rather having this shared vision of what kind of better Japan they would like to build, what kind of better nation would like to create, sharing this same will and desire.
これからも私たち、あるいは友好団体は、この視点は一致していくことになるかと思います。
And I believe that this particular stance will remain consistent in the future, both for our federation and also for other affiliated organizations.
この度の一連の報道で、私たちの法人、あるいは友好団体との関係性が問われることになっておりますが、そういう視点から見つめ直していただければ、より関わりが違った角度から見えてくるんじゃないかというふうに考えております。
And in the recent media coverage, there has been a questioning of the different relationship between our federation, the FFWPU, and other affiliated organizations. And so I think if we consider from this different angle, then we will be able to see this different information about these relations.
以上です。
Thank you.
会長、とはいえ、自民党が今回ですね、100人単位でその教会及びその友好団体との関係が指摘されている事態なわけですけれども、これはそれぞれの友好団体やそれぞれの教会がもう独自の判断で個別にそういうその関係を開拓したのか、それともその教会の中央としてですね、やはりそういうことを手広くやれという指示が出て、あるいはそういう方針の下でその行われたことだったんでしょうか。
Just to translate the question, that being said, if we look at the politicians who are said to have had relationships with the affiliated organizations or your own federation, there of them it seems to be around 100 are from the LDP. So I'd like to ask if this is being done on the judgment of each particular affiliated organization or church and they're building their individual relationships, or is this being done through some sort of centrally organized instructions or guidance?
おそらく今100名と言われましたが、すべての議員の先生方は地方基盤を持っておられるはずです。その地方での私どもが活動している内容が各地方によって異なりますので、その内容と共鳴する議員の先生方との交わり方があったと思いますので、おそらく交流があったと、あるいは関係があったとしても関わり方が皆さん違うはずです。
It was said that 100 politicians, but each of these politicians, of course, have their own different local election bases, local electorate bases as well. And it's the same also for our federation. The actual activities and so on are different from region to region, from the different locality as well. And in the case where the stance and position and so on is shared between the two, it is likely that there would have been this relationship and exchange and so on this local basis, but that would be on a case by case.
以上です。
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, and thank you for staying longer. Mr. Tanaka and Mr. Yamada have to go now, but they told me that the church's head of the PR department, Mr. Susumu Sato, will stay in this room 佐藤さん、今どちらにおられますか？ Okay, he's standing right now. This is Susumu Sato. He's the Koho Bucho, head of the PR department. And he will stay on and willing to take questions from the media. So if you have more questions and you could not ask questions here during press conference, please do take advantage of the opportunity with Mr. Sato. で、佐藤さん、すみません。よろしくお願いします。はい。Okay, so thank you very much. Sorry I couldn't take as many questions I wanted to, but 田中さん、それから山田さん、どうも本当ありがとうございました。長い時間お疲れ様でした。And please remain seated until the speakers will leave the room. And let's wait until their exit.